100%. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. You want to
ready?
song? Yeah.
We're
some
selling A,
music.
right?
Yes, sir.
You got these other things loaded up.
I don't know what's on those. Let's set the stage here.
All right. Soundtrack always helps.
Yes.
It was fun dialing this one in.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to Okayest Cook podcast, proudly hosted on the Okayest Podcast Network. We are here at Amelia's. Amelia's Bakery, Amelia's Bread.
Well, we really just call it Amelia's.
It's just Amelia's.
Yeah.
We got Eric Clark in town.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm Chris Whonsetler, the host. We got Eric Clark in town. Corey Cole's with us. And we've got Charlie, I'm so sorry, I forget your last name.
McIntosh.
Charlie McIntosh.
Oh, that's an easy name to remember.
Yeah, owner
Yeah.
of Amelia's. Sitting down here, and we're just... Eric's in town visiting from the ATA conference, which ironically we met 2 years ago, and that kind of launched this whole circuit. So super fun roundabout way of bringing it back together. And yeah, just wanted to introduce Eric to some of my favorite spots here in town. And since my photo studio's here in the Stutz building, Amelia's moved in and has just been wrecking my rent budget because I've had to factor in a lot more breakfasts and coffee and lunch meetings here. So
Has that wrecked your gym budget too?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's great to hear.
Well, you're not in a caloric deficit anymore.
Right. I'm definitely not in a deficit. So we're here on location in Amelia's. It's crazy busy right now because it is fresh out of open. They just opened. And we got some pastries in front of us. Charlie's probably going to tell us a little bit about what's in front of us here. And again, we're just going to eat and enjoy and just kind of discuss what Amelia's got going on for breakfast. So I would say, Charlie, maybe take it away. Corey, do you mind cutting some of these pastries up?
Yeah. Well, I am curious how you picked the ones you picked.
Oh, they just sounded good to me.
Yeah.
I picked the ones that I couldn't pronounce.
Yes.
They
Very
have,
cool.
They have to
All
be
the fancy
good.
things. So.
Yeah. Well, so that one you're cutting, the mushroom ricotta, that's actually my favorite one right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm always more of like a savory guy.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, you guys have some really awesome sweets, like the sweet tart. When I say sweet, it's more like it's like a fruit sweet, like a berry kind of sweets. Even your cinnamon roll, I would say, is not like a crazy high level of sweets. Like it balances real well.
Yeah, I mean that was thought about. That was kind of the goal. We don't want sweet to be the only thing you taste in it.
Well, that's like sugar. Sugar's like it's an awesome flavor. We all love sugar, but like too much sugar is just gonna like put you off. Like it's how do you explain too much sugar? I mean, you got kids, you know.
Diabetes.
I'm thinking more like on your palate, like just too much sugar. It's a bad thing. Yeah, but really balanced well there. But you guys are more like focused on bread, like as you should be.
Yeah, well, that is how we started.
Yeah.
You know, with just bread.
Yeah.
And then probably like a year, maybe two even into it, we started doing pastries.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So we won't go into all your history. There's some awesome articles online. If you Google Charlie McIntosh and Indie Monthly, like they did an awesome interview with you. So we don't need to go through your whole backstory, your history. This podcast isn't about like regurgitating news and stuff that's already out there.
It's about enjoying and talking about.
It's about
the
food. Yes. Let's talk more about savory pastries because I'm all about the savory jams and I've got a challenge for you, Charlie. Maybe later on. We'll see. We'll see if I feel confident enough to bring that up. Let's start with the mushroom ricotta. Like, how are you involved? Are you with like the development of all the stuff?
I mean, I would say adjacently, but really Megan Jackson is the lead of the pastry program.
Okay.
So, but she wants like a very collaborative environment. So
that's awesome.
They have meetings where they all like throw out ideas and then do testing on them, and you know, people are happier to work somewhere where they have like input and can do things they're excited about.
Yeah. Well, just our chat with Alan Sternberg, which is a Bluebeard sister company to Amelias.
Yeah.
He said almost the exact same thing, like very collaborative, like the way he works with his crew in the kitchen and everyone else too. It's like it's a beautiful combination, and I'll say that's why I like working with cooks and chefs and restaurants, because it is a massive collaboration. Like, I take pictures of things that look pretty. I can't make things that look pretty, and you guys just knock it out of the park. Like it.
I dove right in, and it's delicious.
Please, yeah.
I was like the Leroy Jenkins of the breakfast table.
I'm talking too much. I need to quit talking and dive in myself.
The mushroom ricotta is amazing. My wife hates mushrooms. I love them.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would hate them. Like, the properties, everything about them is so good. And coming from the hunting side, this isn't a hunting thing at all, but mushrooms are like, you put mushrooms in all sorts of things when you're cooking with wild game. So having it in breakfast is not something, short of like an omelet, that this is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's been very popular. I think, ricotta is oftentimes overlooked. I think a lot of people are just like, lasagna, I guess we can use it for that. But there's so much you can do with it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, ricotta's the
I'm trying to crunch away from the mic a little bit.
No, please, like, I mean, Chris, the texture. I mean, we talk a lot about texture.
Yeah.
Like 100%. It's all here. I mean, you got the creamy cheese and the delicate mushrooms and the crispy pastry. It works really, really well. But,
Yeah. Flavors are all very complimentary. It's good.
gosh. Yeah, I can't describe this mushroom ricotta.
This piece is for
Please,
me.
yeah. Yeah, just savory. If you're not into savory breakfasts, that is where it is at.
It's very
100%.
good.
Like, I mean, eggs are pretty much my jam. Like, I'm trying to get away from the sugary cereals and all that crap. But like, anything savory is just like 100% the way to go.
I struggle with breakfast because usually I wake up, I'm hungry. It's like going to the grocery store when you're hungry is a bad idea because you're going to buy everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Breakfast is sometimes a bad idea because I want to eat. I want all the sweet and savory, and then I just overdo it most of the time. But when I'm eating during the regular week, it's eggs. It's very basic. It is more of the savory stuff.
Well, there's a lot of dessert masquerading as breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a good way to say it.
Oh, yeah, French toast, pancakes, coffee cake. Like, it's all just dessert, like you said.
Yeah, it's all great, but
Yes.
You get a nice little crash in the middle of the day, pretty hard from that sugar rush in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, it's more of a weekend treat, though.
We got some sugar coming up here. Charlie, can you talk about I know it's cranberry orange pastry, right? Here in the center.
yes,
These rotate, right? Is it like...
we do. We switch up. The pastry menu rotates quite a bit.
Somewhat seasonal.
Yeah,
and then,
we always try to keep that in mind,
Yeah.
We're not trying to do a fresh tomato.
In winter.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's part of the reason I love shops like yours, because it's different. Like, almost every week, I don't know when you rotate the menus, but it's like almost every week, like, there's something brand new to try out. And like, I honestly have not had anything here that I did not like. I've had stuff that's like, maybe I'm not a fan of it just from an ingredient standpoint, but like, it's been delicious, like, despite not being a fan of that ingredient.
Well, that's the goal.
Like, I love trying all the new stuff, and I've got my favorites. Can you talk about the favorite that's currently not on your menu? I can't. I'm struggling pronouncing capicola twist.
Oh, the capicola twist. Yeah.
Sick.
So
that's been like my go-to, like, for a long time, and it's kind of sad that it's not on the shelf currently.
Well,
but
so Amelia's, the bakery name, is my great-grandma, who was like the first one over in our family from Italy.
that's beautiful.
So we do try to keep, we're not like 100% Italian bakery, but we always have that in the back of our heads when we're trying to think of new stuff to do.
Your roots.
That's awesome.
And we happen to have an excellent local place that makes terrific meat and charcuterie and smoking goose.
We're a huge fan.
Yeah, so that's the capicola is from Smoking Goose, and that was, there's the classic ham and cheese croissant, but that was kind of our like Italian version. We use like a nice aged provolone with the capicola, and it just works well together.
Yes. Again, just that meat, cheese, savory pastry. It ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Minus sugar.
Do you like at home? Do you cook any of this or bake any of this at home?
Never.
I'm just wondering, like, this is the Okayest Cook, and this is my first time ever being on the Okayest Cook, I think.
It is.
Which is interesting.
Kind of sad we waited so long.
And I'm probably subpar to Okayest Cook personally, but is it doable for folks to try some of these things at home, or like how would you go about making a pastry at home? I have no concept of how to make a pastry in any capacity whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, for sure you can. I just don't really do it at home anymore. You know, I'm the main cook at home.
Okay.
I just don't bake at home anymore.
Right. Well, it's tough to do both. Like if you're doing it for work, you don't want to do it at home.
Yeah.
And a lot of chefs say the same thing. Like we eat like normal people when we're at home. I say normal people in air quotes. So.
Yeah.
It's not always super fun and elaborate, but
I just have to imagine the way you do things at home as a base is probably like 10x what I would do at home as my best effort. I forget that movie with the guy from. There's a chef movie. I forget what it's called.
Chef?
Is that the one I'm thinking of? But he's like making eggs, and he makes like the best eggs ever. But he's like, this is how he does it. It's just normal.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you're with your own viewpoint, like you just do stuff the way you do it at home, and you probably don't even notice.
Yeah.
You know that it's different.
Yeah. Your base level might be a little higher than the average Joe's base level, and that's okay.
But
it's your profession.
This looks far above anyone's base level when you have a collaborative effort of people like thinking about what ingredients to use and how to put it together, and you have commercial grade equipment. This is a great reason to come to something like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely make a nice laminated pastry at home. The hardest part is going to be consistency, you know, but you don't really have to be consistent at home.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. I would say, so I'm a big bread guy. I make all of our bread from scratch at home.
Nice.
I've never had a loaf turn out the same ever. But it's also because I don't try to make it the same. I have my core, obviously, when I'm making my dough. But outside of that, I never measure. I don't measure if I'm doing like, they love my the brown sugar and cinnamon and honey one that I do. I never measure that. I just look at how large I can get it rolled out, and then look at it and decide. And same thing with the garlic and herbs. It's just about just when you're. I feel like when you're at home and you're on that level, and then when you're in a facility like this, when you're in a bakery, there's some give there. You know, you can be more relaxed at home.
Oh yeah.
Whereas this, you have a brand, consistency, people are looking for, and I think. I was actually trying to think like what my first introduction to Amelias was, and I think it was through Market Wagon. You guys sell through Market Wagon, right? Like some of the breads? No? I think then maybe somebody introduced it to me.
You know what? It could have been, we have some accounts we sell bread to, and they sell through Market Wagon, so that's probably what it was.
Probably what it was then. Yeah. So, I mean, I love it, and that's...
you have that first experience, ooh, that was good. I'm going to have that again.
Yeah.
If it was different than the first one, suddenly you have like, well, what's going on here? You know? So it's not that we want consistency. It's that you try something and you want that again.
Yep.
And you hope that it is. Yeah. And maybe there's some slight variance where, ooh, that was a good batch or something like that. But, you know, as long as it's like level set with what people expect from their first experience.
Yeah, I mean, when you do it every day, like the bakers will notice like the smallest details that are off or they wish were a little bit better, but you know, probably 95% of the customers would never notice that little detail.
Oh yeah.
But you know, when you hit one perfect, like the bake is perfect or the proof is perfect, and you're like, man, I really killed it.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's talk more about you know, some of the history, and we're skipping a lot of the pastries here, and we can come back to this once they're all gone because but yeah, so you started with bread, and you guys have a killer bread selection too. Like I've loved just coming here, and I am not a bread guy. If you've listened to our bread episode, all three of the other guys are the bread guys, and I buy my bread.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for it, and I buy Amelia's bread when I can because it's just awesome. Like I love supporting local people. I just love awesome bread, and it's just good. I can't say what loaf because every time I buy it, it's again that menu seems to rotate as well.
Yeah.
And, I just buy a different one every time, and I know there's probably certain breads I should be using for certain things, but it's all the same to me.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
all make killer sandwiches. Most of them make awesome French toast. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bread doesn't rotate quite as much as the pastry, but we do switch it up seasonally.
it might be just the time of day I come here and you're out of certain
Yeah.
loaves. So
Well, that's a good way to try new things.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, love it. Yeah, you had a really fun loaf. It was what was it, jalapeno and corn at
Yeah,
one point?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
dude, that knocked the socks.
Anytime
again,
there's jalapeno in bread, it's like,
Dude,
it's my jam.
Again, the savory breakfast. I toasted some of that up and put a fried egg on top and some bacon. Oh my word!
That one's great with chili, too.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. There's
And we cook polenta and add it into the dough.
Oh, you do?
Too.
Okay.
what's polenta?
It's just cornmeal, like
Okay.
coarse ground cornmeal.
Think
Polenta is just like Italian grits.
Got it. Okay.
like grits or cream of wheat or like a soupy oatmeal, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
We just
Depending
went
on how you
super
cook
white
it.
with this podcast.
We did, yeah.
We just went super white.
There's you said you mentioned you've been into Wisconsin and the Dells, and Madison, the state capital of Wisconsin, does a farmers market in the summer, fall, spring months or whatever, and it goes around the whole capital. And there's a single vendor there that is like the one that I care about. And it's like you start there, and by the time you're done with it, you've eaten a whole loaf. They sell this cheese jalapeno bread.
Yeah.
And you start there, and then you're just picking away at this bread the whole time you're walking. It's the only thing I care about when I go there is this jalapeno cheese bread. It's amazing.
Yeah. That always happened at farmers markets we did, but with the focaccia.
Okay.
You know, because it's already like very flavorful, seasoned. You don't
Yeah,
need to
yes.
do anything
Yeah,
to
you
it.
just-
And you see people walking around with bags that are mostly gone.
That's
good.
perfect, yes. Well, yeah, so on the bread note, I mean, I don't know if you have anything else you want to interject in the bread realm. 100%, if you guys are local, you need to come to Amelia's. You need to get some of their bread. If you're not eating breakfast, at least get the bread and eat their bread at home. It's dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can make great bread at home. The only real trick is to make a lot of bad bread first.
Yes.
That would be easy for me to do.
Yeah, but slowly, every time, you notice things and change things, and it gets a little
Keep
better.
notes,
and-
yeah.
My wife
Chef-
does she has like a starter, and
Yeah.
and bakes bread quite frequently actually.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I love it when she does that because then we have nice bread in the house. But
I get pretty
Comes in
lazy with my
spurts.
starter. I'm a feed it once a week person.
Yeah, I mean, if you're keeping it chilled, you certainly can keep it alive that way. It probably won't be baking ready, but
Yeah, I've been playing around a little bit more with self-rising, just so I can be out on the campfire with it. I've never used it before, so I'm learning.
yeah.
It's a significantly different than anything else when you're using self-rising flour.
I think my standards are too high, and I'm just going to continue buying my bread.
We're down with that.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Well, on the bread note, you've already mentioned smoking goose. You guys do some dynamite sandwiches, too.
Yeah.
Is that, how new are the sandwiches to everything?
We've been doing them several years now.
Okay.
We just try to, you're sort of beholden to what space and equipment you have.
Yeah.
We don't have the space. Obviously, the sandwiches would probably be better if we could do them to order, and
Sure.
we're able to cook portions of them and warm up the bread. But we do we try to think about the menu and make things that are good for grab and go.
Yeah.
So we make all the sandwiches, wrap them up. People can just come in and grab one.
Oh, it works. And again, the sandwiches rotate every day. Every day there's a
Yeah,
new
we just do
sandwich,
them Monday
pretty
through
much.
Friday,
Yeah.
and there's a specific sandwich for each day.
Yeah.
And that's Alan Watzinski runs the deli program,
Okay.
which they do more than just the sandwiches, but
Yeah.
all that stuff has been really popular.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I haven't figured out that rotation yet. So, every day I'm here working, I just pop down for lunch and grab a sandwich, and it's a surprise.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
as
know
soon
what
as
I'm
you
gonna have
figure
for
it
lunch.
out, we're going to change it.
Oh, yeah.
that's
okay.
kind of nice though, because then you don't get married to one decision. You kind of
Right, yeah.
keep exploring. That's what makes food so fun.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Is the experiment. That's what I try to tell my kids. I'm like, you guys need to be trying more food. You're missing out on the point of eating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not a peanut butter and jelly every day. And it's not like you don't have like, I don't come in and like they're like, oh Chris, hi, like here's your order, here's your regular,
here's your special.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna try something new, and a lot of times it's flavor combinations that I would not have picked.
Yeah.
If I just saw it on a menu, like because it's the only sandwich option for the day, like it's that or another pastry. And I love it. Like it's fun and it's a fun experiment, and it's rare that I'm disappointed. Yeah.
Well, I mean that's partly we do that purposefully, just because too much choice in a lot of areas of your life.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put something together that's nice, and if you like it, great.
Yeah.
If you don't,
Come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't mind that it's kind of prepackaged and it's not made to order. Like again, just grab and go, super fun.
Yeah.
But on that note, like you guys make it really well. Like I don't think I've ever gotten one of your sandwiches and it's been like soggy and like felt old. Like somehow like your people, like when they do the layering, like they layer it perfect. So like the bread stays dry. And
yeah.
It's not like a gas station. It's not like a gas station sandwich.
Those are the worst. Those are the worst.
Yeah.
Always the worst sandwiches you can ever get.
VP egg salad sandwich.
Oh no! Never get an egg salad sandwich at a gas station.
Where the bread is soggy yet
let's give it a
somehow
definition.
still dry.
It's just congealed into one homogeneous item. No, it's they've all been phenomenal, and like again, I love coming back and trying all the things. And
well,
it's super cool.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yes. Well, tell us more about what's in front of us. Corey, what did you pick out? You picked out something that we could not pronounce.
That's
Yeah,
the
well,
Kouign-amann.
There you go. Say it again.
Kouign-amann.
Okay.
Kouign-amann. Yes.
That is not how it's spelled.
No.
It is not a phonetical item.
So
Yeah.
what is that?
I mean, it's kind of a classic pastry. I think it's had a resurgence in the last 5 or 10 years. You know, people remaking it, but they made it forever. I think it might even actually be of like northern France back when it was the Celts. And it's just, I mean, it's very similar to a croissant, like a laminated pastry, but between the layers, there's like a light dusting of sugar and like a little bit of salt. So it's not like overly sweet, but there's a definite sweetness to it.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to say it looks like a cupcake. I mean, up close you can see the laminations, but it's taller than you would expect when you think of like a laminated pastry.
Yeah, well, we actually bake it in ring molds, so it sort of constricts it and forces it to only rise upward.
Oh man.
Someone
else talk.
It's a very delicate balance, and delicate and like, what am I trying? I don't have to. Guys, I've never had a food podcast.
You get that really nice
So
crunchy
good.
outer layer, but then with the really nice soft spongy interior.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great
I like
mix of like, again, when you think laminated, I think like real thin, kind of crispy, really airy. This almost splits the difference between like it's kind of spongy, but it's kind of that airy,
Yeah, I think that's why
laminated.
people love this so much, because it's got a super unique texture.
Yeah, I mean, silky would not be like a bad term to describe like the interior. Like it's not quite cake, it's not quite like a puff pastry type thing, but
Straddles the line.
you got to come try it.
It's the subjectivity of food is fascinating to me, that you can appeal to masses in this way, because people are so particular about their texture, their flavor, their palate. If I ask you guys how do you describe what a rose smells like?
Yeah.
How the heck do you do that? How do you describe what that just tastes like? It's going to be different for all of us, but the experience is amazing. We all just had a great experience eating that.
100%, yeah.
So like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing that the coffee industry and wine have done well, is like give people the vocabulary to actually talk about
The
what
notes.
they're tasting.
And, this coffee
we're
was
trying to
described to me
learn.
as a peanut butter note.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, they're right, I think. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
A lot of those terms, like if you tell me what to look for, I can find it, but I'm still learning like how to pinpoint those flavors and kind of describe what I'm tasting and smelling, and it's a journey. We're getting there.
Well, and that's comes back to the core of who we are as a podcast. We're just okay at this. We're learning.
Yeah.
We're growing, but the point is that we are doing those things. We're not just going to eat fast food every night. We're going out and we're attempting. I get a lot of comments about it's for guys specifically, about with a cooking podcast. But obviously, we've also had a lot of guys on our podcast that are in the cooking world and chef world, and so this is just something that is we're learning. We have guests like Charlie on so that we can learn and grow, and that's what it's all about.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Well, real quick, we've got 2 more pastries in front of us. I'm not sure what the time is on the podcast.
I'm excited about this chocolate and pear one.
Oh, chocolate pear.
Chocolate
yes.
pear.
Yeah.
There's some ginger in there too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
So ginger's like real high on my flavor list. So,
Yeah.
I need some of that real quick. A little bit sweeter than most, I imagine. I haven't tasted it yet, but again, yeah. Honestly, I don't see chocolate on your menu all that much. I mean, you've got the chocolate chip cookie, you've got a brownie.
Yeah.
I try and stay off that top layer just because that's like, quote unquote, like that's very desserty in my mind. And I'm trying not to eat dessert for breakfast.
Well, we do have a
desserts.
breakfast cookie.
Oh, what is this?
Well,
What
it's
is
just
this you speak of?
It's just a chocolate chip cookie for breakfast.
full of nuts and seeds and
Okay.
dried fruit. And,
Okay.
still a fair amount of sugar, but
Yeah, it's still a cookie, but it's not chocolate chips.
The ginger in here makes it feel fresh.
Yes.
That's a
That's a
really
good word.
interesting
Oh my gosh, yeah.
way to taste a muffin.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take some of these home.
Just the smell alone is like,
yeah.
oh
Have
my
you guys
gosh.
ever taken a shot of ginger root, like in juice form?
I have not.
Yes.
No.
It's insane. It will clear your palate. Like if you're sick, it's actually something I would recommend to do just to like get your sinuses flushed out a little bit.
It's like taking a shot of Everclear.
It's wild how fast it just like clears you up. It's very pungent, very strange. But if you have a juicer and you do ginger root into juice, and you can I say take a shot, but like
Yeah.
take whatever. It's got a very unique flavor.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it. But
would
that's like a very
say
fresh
like
flavor.
Would you say like a wasabi? Like
yeah, maybe
little
less
bit-
pungent as that.
Not quite as pungent as that, but I do those often
Yep.
with a turmeric and honey.
Okay.
Just do that, and that's just kind of shoot that down, and it'll cleanse the palate and
Yeah.
close everything up, and
You
make
can't
it feel
mistake
good.
ginger, though.
No.
Like, yeah.
I have
Do you
ginger
have just the
candies.
right amount in here where it's not?
Oh my
it's
gosh,
not
yeah.
like the shot I'm talking about. It's not
Yeah.
going to mess you
No.
up.
It's almost like I get the most ginger from this bite, like almost like on an exhale, like after you've finished
Yeah.
eating your bite, like when you do that first breath out, like that's when the ginger kind of hits my tongue, and like it's
It's
beautiful
good.
combination.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anytime you
Have
put
you had Wisco Pop?
I don't think so.
I think it might be from Wisconsin,
yeah.
but it's a newer company, but they just have really nice sodas. And
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
much of a soda guy, but they make I think it's branded different as Sparkle, but it's a ginger beer.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh,
Like
okay.
zero sugar, but
Interesting.
super gingery.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Huh.
I'll have to check that out. I'm a big I love ginger ale in whiskey.
Yeah.
So
Dude, yeah,
I have
just
to check that
ginger
out.
beer is like again top notch, but so much sugar
Yeah.
in most of them. So I need to find some of that because I love ginger beer and
Yeah, it's
trying
great.
to eliminate the sugars. So
At
yeah.
least for this first month of the year.
we try. We
Yeah.
try. Till February. But yeah, again, the combinations on that. What is it called? The chocolate pear.
It's just a ginger pear muffin.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the chocolate ginger pear, like it's almost like the chocolate's pretty obvious, but the ginger and pear, like you almost have to look for.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't written on the menu, like I don't know if I would.
You'd be like, oh, what did I just taste? So
able.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, beautiful. Yeah, fruit chocolate combination, which is
Yeah.
kind of an underrated combination in my mind. Just any kind of fruit. and
That's
chocolate.
that's my jam. Anytime if you have something with chocolate and a fruit with it, I'm probably going to order it.
Yeah.
Probably, especially chocolate banana. But anytime it's chocolate and fruit, I'm probably going to order it.
Yep. And when you pair that with your coffee, you guys brew Tinker
Yeah.
coffee, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So again, the Tinker coffee with that chocolate pear is like beautiful combo. Absolutely love it. But,
That's
yeah,
why
that's one of the beautiful things about food is how they all like intermix, and
yes.
it'll taste a little bit different if you're drinking it with something different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, pastries and coffee, they almost have to go together. I have to have that coffee to bring it down.
100%.
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting. Like you go to certain restaurants and they'll kind of recommend this beer with this meal, or steakhouses
Yes.
will be like this wine pairs well with this food. and they'll give you these recommendations on the menu almost because they understand the notes on how they complement each other. I almost wonder if there's something like with this pastry and this coffee.
Yeah.
Would pair better than this one and that one.
100%.
That'd be kind of a fun thing to do.
You just gave Amelia combos.
I mean, I have no idea what that would look like.
Combo
but
number one.
There you go.
That would be kind of hilarious if you did have combos, just
Yeah.
like a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Just your coffee pastry combo.
Yeah.
100% it works.
But it's
So-
way more based off the notes in the palate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right
love
out of
One
college, I worked at a coffee shop, like starting at my photo business, and like at that coffee shop, I learned about like all the coffee regions and flavor profiles and how things pair, and like that honestly kind of in the back of my mind kind of kickstarted my food journey, just because I care about like regions and flavor profiles. And because prior to working there, I would go to coffee shops and I would get like a cranberry scone and a cup of coffee, and like some days it would taste awesome, some days it would taste horrible, and it was that coffee region that just wasn't, it was kind of clashing with the cranberry.
Yeah.
So it matters. It matters a lot what you're eating and what you're drinking and how they pair. So 100% think about that.
I love it.
Yes. We got one more thing on the item, and then we got things to do. So we might wrap it up after we talk about this last thing here. Absolutely everybody raves about this item, so I had to throw it on the cutting board.
And they
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
look
it's
like
one
what
of the
you would
most
think.
popular.
If you would have told me that was a cinnamon roll without seeing the name on it, I would not have guessed that was a cinnamon roll.
Yeah. It's not your
classic
one. Yeah.
Well, break it down for us.
Take over. Yeah.
Well, first off, it's like laminated, like a croissant, which offers a few different textures. So you're not, like the classic yeast cinnamon roll is great,
Doughy,
but
and
it's just
heavy
like doughy and soft throughout. And usually, in my opinion, they have just like way too much icing,
I was about to say that. Yeah.
which can be a fun treat, but I'm not eating one of those every week.
Every Christmas, my wife hand makes cinnamon rolls, and they're beautiful. They are your classic, super dense, crazy sugary cinnamon rolls, and there's an equal amount of dough to icing on their cinnamon rolls. And yours are the opposite. It's almost like a crust of icing. If I had to describe it.
Well, it's more of like a glaze. But
That's a fancier way to say it. Yes.
yeah.
That's why we have you
But
on.
it's buttermilk.
Okay. The icing.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how we hydrate it.
It's
But
phenomenal.
that offers just like
Oh
an
my gosh.
added layer of, flavor.
Yeah.
Well, like if a cinnamon roll sits out for even an hour after making it, it starts to get hard.
Those outer layers are trash usually.
Yeah, that was
this
not.
one, every layer is as good as the middle layer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got some cardamom in it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now you're speaking Colton's language. He's all about his cardamom.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What is cardamom?
Spice? A seed?
Yeah. I would say used in Indian food a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
kind of
it-
add some like richness, maybe.
It's really
or how would
good.
you describe it? Or
Yeah, I don't know.
earthy complexity.
It's
and-
not quite as rich as a clove, but it brings that
Definitely not, yeah.
earthiness to it for
Yeah.
sure.
A little sweet. It's got a little spiciness to it.
Yeah. Our so we did an episode a while back. Was it on spices maybe? But like, make a tea. Like if you're not sure what a spice is or
you can really
does,
identify
just,
it?
Yeah, make a tea out of it.
Yeah.
And then you can smell it really well. You can taste it really well, and like you can like start to identify all these individual ingredients.
Really
in different
isolates it
things.
so
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I need to do more of.
Yeah.
I need to talk.
I would imagine
walk
people are
around.
consuming lots of spices that they just don't
they
know
have no
they're
idea.
consuming.
I have had I've never heard that one before. I'm learning so much, guys.
Well, they
especially
don't grow
places
it in
like this.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, we just have cows and cheese. It's just not beer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's why we come to cool places like this to experience these fun things and like buttermilk glaze on my flaky cinnamon roll. Like, nobody makes this at home. So, like, we got to come here to do it. And again, it gives us fun, creative ideas and just a new twist on like a classic staple. It's just
Well, it's
so
fun to
beautiful.
break it down, too, because if I were the patron here or consumer, I just walked in and I'll take one of those and I'd eat it and I would enjoy it. But I wouldn't have had any thoughts about any of these things. That's why it's kind of fun to discuss it. It's what did I just experience? What did I just eat? That was so good. It's really cool.
Pretty soon you're going to be one of those guys like, nibbling at something like, oh, is that a hint of cardamom I'm tasting in here?
Yeah, you can get a little extra with it.
Yeah, I suppose you could.
That's the goal of the podcast, to make us all food snobs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Food curious, not food snobby.
There you go.
Food curious. I like it.
I love it. So. Cool. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for being here, for explaining what's in front of us. Like, I've loved it you've been here for just over a year, 2 years maybe?
Coming up on 2 years for this.
Here in the Stutz building,
At the Stutz building, yeah.
You've been in Indianapolis since 2010?
2012.
2012?
Yeah.
Okay, So, you're a staple. Like, people know Amelias when you come here. And again, if you're visiting Indy, 100% put Amelias on your list. Again, the sandwiches are a beautiful collaboration of several businesses here in town, and just again, their breads are just the best in Indy. I haven't found a bread shop better, and I'm not saying that just because you're here.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
It's legit my thoughts and opinions. So,
yeah. Well, I think Indy's been lucky in the last several years of having several great bakeries that are just producing good stuff, which in my opinion is just much better for the city.
Better for the whole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every neighborhood I feel like could have its own little bakery.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, for sure.
definitely, yeah.
That's my. So we've talked about this before. My dream is I would love to open like a old school little corner store, like candy shop.
Now you're talking my language.
I grew up here on the west side in Hallville.
Yeah.
And we had one of those, Bo's and Vicky's, and that was kind of actually like, we talked about this before too, that was kind of like the neutral ground. No drama in Bo's and Vicky's.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what side of colors you land on, if you catch what I'm putting down, it stays outside of Bo's and Vicky's. And it was like 10, 15 tables, but it was there for the kids, 10-cent candies, your spiced pickles, stuff like that, some soda pops, but it was just a place for people to just relax and know that they're safe. So that's something that it's probably, you asked what's the next, that might be like the next thing that I do up at in the McCordsville area.
Corey's Candy Shop.
Well, there's nowhere for kids, teens to go and be safe. And I think even Amelia's in this area can be and then you guys are over on Virginia Avenue.
Yeah.
Be that place. I know there's not a lot of places to sit down over there, but just having places like this that are collaborative with other businesses that are supporting other businesses in our community are super important.
I think so. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, for
You're
being
welcome.
with us, along with being here.
Yeah.
In the Stutz building. Absolutely love what you're doing. Keep that up.
Letting us take over your space a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll do it.
It's been
Say
beautiful.
hi if you swing through.
Absolutely, yes. Swing by
where
Amelias.
where can we find you on the socials?
Amelia's Bread on Instagram. That's pretty much what we use.
Yeah. So Amelia's and Bluebeard, again, sister companies.
Yeah.
Follow both, visit both, eat at both when you're here in town. And it's beautiful food. It's unique and it's different and it's crazy good. That's all I can say.
Awesome. I love it. We appreciate you guys very much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, sorry. One last thing. We're not going to wrap with a recipe today, but my challenge. I think
here we go.
I think I've mustered up the courage. You guys don't have a ton of scones, let's say air quotes scones here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you guys do scones?
We've done them in the
Ish.
past.
Okay.
You've
got some biscuity things that are similar, but not not an authentic scone. The best scone I've ever had in my life, and I'm kicking myself because I can't remember the coffee shop, down around Cincinnati, I believe. They had a blue cheese and bacon scone that was just out of this world. And I've tried a couple here and there. None have hit the mark.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in chatting about doing something blue cheese, bacon oriented,
well, that would go well in the winter.
That would be my new favorite item. So if you can come out with one of those, if I could make a request, a challenge would be to incorporate that into one of your things coming up. But the blue cheese, flaky, like that would be like the cranberry thing, but with blue cheese and bacon. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out. You know what to do.
I'm sure we will.
You know what to do. We'll see it next month on the menu, right? That's how it works.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Charlie, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We'll eat here later.
Thank you.